Gauntlet.
Punching their tickets to the Global Gauntlet Finals.
Qualified for the Global Gauntlet.
They are to the finals.
Global Gauntlet.
Hello all, welcome to another episode of Global Gauntlet REWOUND, where we rewind the tapes on some of the unstreamed Global Gauntlet sets, and just bear witness to peak Splatoon action. I'm Frost6, and joined with me on the mic is the lovely Splat on my right. How have you been, man?
I'm doing really good. I'm really excited to see both these teams play today. We've got PxG versus ISM Rhythm. Let's start off with PxG here. The top Western team, the only team to take blood from the Japanese teams. We have Gray, Goss, Noah, and Solja. We're going to see a little bit of a different comp today because Noah is going to be on the E-liter. So we're going to have Goss stuck in NZAP jail. Up next, we've got ISM Rhythm.
ISM Rhythm is the next team we're seeing, and I already got the opportunity to bear witness to what they had to bring to the Global Gauntlet. We've got Livia on the 96, Grand Roll, the Dreadbringer Demon, Goyame, ISM Rhythm's Eyes in the backline, and rounding out the roster is Yochan Ika, normally on the Blaster. And they are just a team to behold, a team combining meta influence and weapon flexibility. And of course, you gotta mention it, Goyame holds the highest peak X power with the unscoped E-liter, and it's one of the reasons why E-liter is considered strong in the current meta. It's why you're seeing players like Devin bring out the leader. It's why you're seeing players like Noah on the leader this time around. And it's just it's kind of the influence that ISM Rhythm has. Welcome to the strike and selection screen, where now PxG and ISM Rhythm will strike and select the stages as we go. And PxG will start the strike with Brine Water and eventually Hagglefish.
Honestly, really good to get Brine Water out immediately. That is a very small, cramped stage, which is hard to do a lot on. So I'm not surprised PxG banned that one. Our first ban from ISM Rhythm is Urchin Underpass has been striked out. Another map where I feel like it focuses too much on a area that's too small. So it makes sense that these are getting banned here, Frostix.
Yes, and now the random selection has chosen Barnacle and Dime for game number 1. And I think just the key thing to note about Barnacle and Dime is how lockout heavy this is. If a team can just contest your stack in mid, they can pretty much just watch over court, watch all of your drops, and then it'll be a really rough time on the retake. Me and my team have had many hard games fought on Barnacle and Dime slot.
I think it's a really good map because I take it piece by piece. You go for your stack. Once you have good control of your stack, you can take mid. Once you have mid, you take their stack, and then you push in to their base. Let's get into the game right now.
We're already seeing Noah on that leader, Goss on that Zap, Goyame on that leader, and Yochan Ika on Custom Blaster. We've been seeing a lot of Custom Blaster stocks rising, and here we go. Someone on PxG is already painting. That's likely both Goyame and Noah painting just to get their wave breakers online.
Exactly, and let's see, the soonest we can get a cooler out is the sooner we can have the advantage. As we can see, ISM Rhythm already with their cooler out as they take control back from PxG and take the lead here, Frostix.
And now we're seeing a little bit of more pushback from PxG. Soldier trying to go up. They get rid of Livia before getting snaked out by Goyame. Their eye in the sky sees all, and they're trying to get a caught shot onto Plats here. Not going to be able to cancel Gray out of that splashdown. And here comes some strikes from Soldier as the rest of PxG start to mobilize. They are in control. They have gotten rid of Grand Roll here. And I think they're just trying to play things safe, especially now that they have this wave breaker to look out for. They do lend the pick onto the Zap. They have deployed a wave breaker of their own. Gray's moving in here, trying to get the shot onto Yoika. Will they? The splashdown comes out. Gray's in a tricky situation. They're able to get rid of Grand Roll here. Potentially Livia. They do, but they go down. The damage is being dealt though. Slat, that's on you.
So many people going down back and forth here, but PxG has still got the timer ticking down in their favor. With both teams going 2 down, this is a very aggressive start to this set here, Frostix. I'm really excited to see what ISM Rhythm can do here to get the zone back. As I say that, they do get the zone back.
Yes, Grand Roll will pop the slider, starting their hold once more. That being said, PxG has the strikes ready to go, and this could be game-changing. ISM Rhythm has to start acting, try to get rid of Soulja or other members, and Yoika is already in the pit. Livia's deep in enemy territory, but Soulja gets rid of them. They're trying to get a foothold onto Plat, but no! They get struck down by Grand Roll. Yoika gets downed by Goss, and if anything, we're seeing ISM Rhythm starting to get a little bit more of a foothold. They're almost at the 30 threshold, but PxG manages to sweep that right in the nick of time.
There's the reason why PxG is our top Western team. They're doing a great job at locking out ISM Rhythm right now, but I wouldn't hold on too much because we see Gray immediately go down to that amazing shot from Goyame. And we see the Wavebreaker immediately go out as they're trying to capitalize on this push. We see the splashdown come out to take the zone, and they get it back, giving PxG a bigger penalty.
And already they get rid of a pivotal player like Gray. Grand Roll is fighting in right street, trying to get Goss down here. They're just trying to hold down space, but no! They go down to the shot of Noah here. And now ISM Rhythm is 2 members down, and PxG is mobilizing, immediately taking Plat here. They're trying to scope at Livia, but Livia's jumping out here. And PxG are very, very comfy. They're just trying to whittle down their penalties. Noah's halfway towards a wave breaker, but they're starting to dwindle on space. No one is contesting Plat on PxG's end, which will just allow ISM Rhythm to walk up, as we're seeing Livia do right now. And I think we're starting to see a little bit of a shift, but anything could change.
Exactly, Frostix. I mean, as we can see, Livia did try to push forward, but Grand came in to finish the job since Livia was unable to. They do get the zone and are about to break through this penalty very easily. They did get PxG 3 down after all with that push.
They did, and they've already got a splashdown ready to go in case things get dicey. They've already gotten rid of Noah. Soulja has strikes ready to go. They definitely want to make use of that if they want to take this fast, but the splashdown has happened. 2 members down on PxG. The lead has been swapped out in Rhythm's favor.
It's just an exciting push from ISM here. Honestly, if they just hold here, they've got the first game. But we do see the strikes come out for PxG in the last second. But they still keep the zone down in their favor. Oh my gosh, they go 3 down, and with 1 tick left, PxG takes the zone back.
A thrilling stop to that, and now PxG need to get this knockout if they want to get this game. No specials are online, but Soulja is halfway towards strikes. If anything, positioning and holding space is key right now. Gray is trying to draw some attention. Meanwhile, Soulja as well as Noah are trying to make sure Plat isn't being overtaken, but Grand Roll and Livia have the answers for that. Here comes the wave breaker, and here comes the re-slider. Soulja goes down to the slider. Grand Roll goes down to Goss here. The zone is now in orange here. A Splashdown was trying to take it. PxG are deadly close to reaching single digits, but they're still in control here. 2 members down on ISM Rhythm here. This is deadly close. It's down to 3 points. What will happen in 30 seconds, Slat?
Oh my gosh. Well, PxG did just get hit with a fat penalty because they got down to 4 ticks. They're back in control. All they have to do is break through this penalty into overtime to take the lead. The winner here either wins by 1 point or by knockout. I'm excited to see what happens here.
And overtime is
people
imminent.
immediately go down.
Livia gets 3 here. Soulja is trying to survive. There's a slider from Grand Roll, but that won't stop Soulja just yet. But Soulja goes down here, and ISM is back in control. Grand Roll goes down to the blaster, and overtime is not happening. That's ISM Rhythm taking game 1.
I'm gonna be honest. That was really exciting first set. PxG had such a strong start, but ISM Rhythm took advantage of an amazing situation where I think they got a knockout. And then they just pushed in and just held it for as long as they could.
That they did, and I think that's just what you can. I think that's the paramount strategy for a map like Barnacle and Diamond. Here's the stat sheet right now. The KP%, which stands for kill participations, is still a little bit flat on the board with most people at 50. But right now we're seeing a lot of paint coming out from Goss as well as Grand Roll. And I think Goss having a lot of the paint helps a lot. Same thing with Soulja on their V Slosher.
Well, I will say they got to get as many coolers out as possible because with as many people going down as you see happening during these games, you want to be back in as fast as possible.
Definitely so. And not just that, not just coolers, but also having like those key pivotal zone painting specials. Like you see 14k, 14k paint on Soulja's end here. That's for strikes, and 1900 paint on Grand Roll. That's for sliders. When you need to, of course, make sure you can get those specials frequently within the rotation as well. And now we're back on the strike and select. the next 2 stages to be striked will be in the hands of ISM Rhythm.
I'm excited to see what they strike out. Immediately getting rid of Lemuria Hub. Honestly, don't blame them. It's a very interesting map to fight on because it is not asymmetrical.
The sightlines are not necessarily leader friendly as well, and they also strike out Inkblot. Interesting there as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's very interesting because Inkblot is could be a really good map for them. I mean, I know they both have E-leaders, so they can both benefit from it, but there's a lot of places where you can set up on Inkblot.
Yeah, but now the selection is in PxG's hands, and they have selected Mako Mart. This is going to be Mako Mart zones, and if I know anything about the countless matches I've casted on Mako Mart, I think Grand Roll Slider is going to be a very key thing for ISM Rhythm to play with.
Oh, I can 100% agree with that. And Mako Mart's just an excellent Splat Zones map, in my opinion. We're not seeing any changes, it looks like, from either team here as we get started into the second match.
I think also I think both Yoika as well as Gray, their roles as the blaster players of both teams is going to really matter. In a map with this much ledges, the blaster and the bucket kind of reign supreme. And already ISM, or not ISM, I think that's ISM Rhythm goes 3 members down, and PxG have a very strong hold just to start things off.
Yeah, PxG doing a great push right at the beginning, immediately knocking 2 people down. We see Gray jump back because they got into a very sticky situation, but they're doing a great job at holding on to the zone here. We see lots and lots of point sensors coming out, trying to find the members of PxG, but it's not really working in ISM Rhythm's favor.
I think we're shifting towards a little bit more of a neutral, especially now that ISM has some very pivotal specials online. Grand has a slider, and Yoika has the splashdown. Here comes the wave breaker from Goyame. I think they're just waiting for the opportune moment, and I think the stars are aligning, and Yoika gets a double, the splashdown to keep them alive. Will they get Soldier before they jump out? Yes, they do. Can they go for 4 as their flow state activates Slat?
We love seeing Flow Aura activate. Honestly, they're doing a great job at keeping PxG in their base right now. We see strikes come out from Soldier to try to capitalize on the zone as ISM Rhythm takes the lead. They stop it for a second, but ISM Rhythm keeps control of the zone. We see PxG trying to sneak up on that stack to get a couple picks. Unfortunately, does go down as ISM Rhythm has a pretty strong hold of the zone here, Frostix.
That they do, and they also have very key sightlines on PxG's drop here as Goyame stares them down with that unscoped leader, and they are deadly close to the single digits. They're already in the teens, and now PxG really needs to act. The strikes are coming out from Soldier, but Yoika is ledging them out, and with a splashdown from Gray, they flip that immediately.
Yeah, an amazing penalty just thrown onto ISM Rhythm, which is going to give PxG a chance to regroup, take good control of mid, and keep ISM Rhythm out. As we see here, we're about to break through penalty and start ticking down closer, but they have a long ways to go to break through past that number 8 there, Frostix.
Not just a long ways to go, and ISM Rhythm has their arsenal almost ready to go. Grand Roll has the slider, they will pop it here. The zone has been immediately flipped by ISM Rhythm, and also Yoika has their triple splash down to start taking more space and taking more paint, which is important. 2 members down now on PxG here. Could it be a third with Goss, who is just tiptoeing out of this situation? They're able to jump out here, but Yoika still has that splashdown, and they're right back in their ledging spot.
This is really exciting to see because even though they have such a big penalty, they are so far ahead. As long as they just keep taking back the zone before PxG breaks through their penalty, this game is basically theirs.
Yeah, like they just can keep flipping it back. Gray will pop a splashdown here. I think there was another splashdown popped by Yoika, and now the zone is right back in ISM Rhythm's Cyan. And now Yoika's trying to go for a little bit of a flank here in the street, trying to just at least stay alive, because I think having that blaster alive and that splashdown is very, very pivotal. Same thing with Grand Roll and their slider. Goyame is now in the POV seat. We're trying to see if they can land that shot here, land a little bit more pressure halfway towards their wave breaker. Grand Roll has their slider ready to go, and they're just locking them out here. No one is touching mid just yet here. PxG needs to start acting.
Speaking of which, we see the strikes immediately come out to try to take the zone. They are unfortunately unsuccessful as we break penalty here. We're ticking down to see if ISM Rhythm takes the win here, and they do, taking game 2 immediately. I did want to point out, it felt like both teams were, let's see how far we can get forward so we can get our E-leader up there, keeping the other team back. And it really did work in ISM Rhythm's favor.
Yeah, I think like having Goyeme set up on left stack here, it's interesting that I think Goyeme decided to stay on left stack because it seemed like maybe they didn't have entirely the sightlines. Maybe normally it would be on right stack, but even still, I think just the pressure of having that leader on left stack just kind of like put a little bit more of a spook on PxG as they were starting their own retakes right now. KP percents are a little bit down, I think, but in terms of paint, which I really like to focus on, especially when it comes down to zone, once again, Grand Roll, Goss, they're like really pushing like high paint numbers right now. Goss, of course, providing a lot more coolers, and Grand Roll providing a lot of sliders. 5 sliders.
You want to get that? Oh no, go ahead.
I was going to say 5 sliders on Grand Roll's end, but that's the A stands for assists.
Right. Yes, I mean, for that map specifically, you want to get slider on that zone because it's really good at just capping it immediately. So I'm not surprised why Grand Roll was focusing mostly on paint there.
Yeah, exactly. And then not just that, but of course, it's a slosher. It can go over those ledges and kind of pressure out the ledges the same way that Yotchan Ika was on the Blaster.
Yeah, well, I'm excited to see what we've got next here. Let's take a look at the strikes that ISM Rhythm are going to strike out next before PxG picks the next stage. All
Yes,
right.
and now
Flounder Heights immediately striked out.
Okay, Flounder zones to be striked out firsthand, and the next strike is coming imminently. I think Flounder, obviously you don't really see that a lot, especially on zone. It's a 2-zone map, and like I guess like the zone architecture can feel a little bit iffy if you ask me.
I agree. And Manta Maria, another map that honestly not surprised to strike out because of how small and easy it is to steamroll on.
And PxG's selected stage is Museum Zones. Once again, the sightlines definitely benefit E-Leader here. You can just sit up on your own top spinner, and once you get into that advantage state, you can start spinning. You can start sitting on mid spinner and start spinning on the enemy team.
Round and round they go. Both of them have E-Leaders, so I'm excited to see which team can push forward the most here.
Definitely so. I think one thing to be noted is that, of course, Museum has this kind of early game flank that you can go on. Gray is now bringing out the S Blast. We can finally see them on S Blast.
Wow, I'm actually really excited to see that because we've only seen the C Blaster. So honestly, I think the Booyah Bomb will be helpful here because of how much range they have to go. Maybe they have to throw it into their plat or back in their base to get some picks.
Okay, we already saw Yoika go for the early game flank, but I think they got immediately responded to by the members of PxG, who've already gotten rid of Grand Roll. That's a solid start here. Gray's already trying to take contest of the mid spinner. No one's there to contest them. They're jumping back now. Livia's in a bit of a pickle, but they're super jumping out. Yoika gets taken down, but now the zone is flipped in ISM Rhythm's Magenta.
Honestly, really good start from ISM Rhythm here. They're doing a really great job at just pushing PxG back. They're not really giving them a chance to take the zone at all here. As you see, we see the bucket here trying to get Gray. The bucket, it does get Gray, amazing. And Goyeme is slowly inching forward, trying to get picks with that E-Leader.
Once again, they're employing the same kind of technique that they did in Makeamore. How far can we push Goyeme up? Because if you can get that leader in a really forward position here, they provide so much more pressure on the enemy team when they start the retakes. Yoika now jumping out. Livia has a cooler ready for the rest of ISM Rhythm, but now zone's in neutral. Grand Roll's in a little bit of a pinch, but they're still holding Stalwart.
As you say, that Soldier does win the fight as it's PxG's turn to have control of the zone, and they're taking advantage of them not being pushed forward enough, and they're jumping into their platform to see if they can get some picks. We see Splat Bomb come out, doesn't get the pick. Only Soldier's the one pushing forward right now, though, Frostix.
It appears that they're not entirely committing hard enough if they wanted to be doing that, but here comes Gray trying to get some ledges. They do manage to get rid of Yoika, but Yoika gets rid of them with a splashdown. Here comes some strikes from Gray, impeding their retake, and there is PxG taking the lead.
An amazing lead take, and honestly, with 3 minutes left and 2 down on the side of ISM Rhythm, they are doing a great job holding. We need to see Noah push up forward so they can capitalize on this push.
Yeah, they are sitting in this very tight left side here. They are almost at a wave breaker. I think they're just trying to get some shots on where they least expected to. Gray's Booyah Bomb is connecting in the end, but they get... Noah just gets jumped by, I think that's Yoika. Yoika is right back into the fold with a splash down to put zone into neutral. This knockout almost happened, but thanks to Yoika and the rest of ISM Rhythm, they are not going down just yet.
once again, we see the Splat Zone get down to 1 before immediately getting put in penalty. This is just to show how good both of these teams are. Both of these teams really, really just, there's a reason they're here. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I know. I'm picking up what you are putting down, Slat. And now ISM Rhythm is 2 members down. It's now time for PxG to continue holding their, once again, eyeing that right side. Also eyeing the drop now that they have learned from their past mistakes and maybe trying to sniff out any would-be flankers.
Honestly, and it looks like it's working very well. We see Grand trying to push in and get the zone as fast as possible. The Resider does come out, but doesn't take the zone. Honestly, just trying to get picks. Grand does go down, but they are able to take down the leader with them. Oh my gosh, all I'm saying is just people going down left and right here, Frostix.
Non-stop action here on Museum. D'Alfonsino and Goss is in a bit of a pickle between the Wavebreaker and between Grand Roll. You need to find a way out of there and fast, and I think that they do. But right now, ISM Rhythm are almost out of their penalty points here. PxG needs to find a way to put that zone into neutral, lest they start counting down, and that they do.
Exactly. It is a good time for them to push. They do have the cooler here, but all they really have to do is just keep putting them in penalty for the next minute and 15 seconds, and the game's basically theirs.
Yeah, basically just do what they did to them in Mako Mart. Zone is down to neutral, and there's 41 penalty points back onto ISM Rhythm here. Is exactly what you were saying, Slat. And now PxG is looking at right side again, and Noah is pushed up on mid spinner. Finally, they are in a forward position to probably get some good cover fire down for the rest of PxG as they're holding in. Whoa, look at that snipe onto Olivia.
That was an amazing snipe on Olivia. Honestly, this is the time now to push forward. We see an amazing pick on the reach slider, stopping them from taking the zone. We've got Yochan pushing in, getting an amazing pick on Gray, trying to just put the zone back into neutral so they can get those penalty packs going down again with 35 seconds left on the board, Frostix.
All right, PxG needs to hold this zone for 30 seconds longer, but right now, ISM Rhythm is now in control. A Booyah Bomb is being charged by Gray, hitting the zone directly. There's a Wave Breaker ready to be deployed by Noah, and the zone is green once more, but ISM Rhythm has their entire arsenal of zone specials ready to roll. The slider's ready, the Wave Breaker has just been deployed by Goyame, and the splashdown on Yochan Ika. This has to work in overtime for ISM Rhythm, and they need to clear out basically their own points and then some if they want to get this knockout. Overtime is now starting.
Yeah, honestly, all PxG has to do is stop the zone for just long enough for the game to end. As we can see, ISM Rhythm immediately goes into a pseudo wipe as PxG takes game 3.
That is game 3 going to PxG. Another game taken off the Japanese teams. Obviously a massive, massive accomplishment for PxG. Now they have to win the next 2 games if they want to take this set as a whole here. And now looking at the stats so far, basically 1,000, like, I think what I'm really wanting to, I guess, point out is that Soulja very proactive on paint this time around here. They got a lot of strikes.
Oh yeah, a lot of strikes. I think that was a majority of the time they were taking the zone back was those strikes. So they needed to keep getting those out. I want to point out Grand Roll and Goss once again with the most amount of paint. They love painting.
Oh yeah. When it comes down to getting coolers and sliders, I think it really does matter in the heat of things here. And Goss only went down once. Goss
that's crazy
that they can stay alive.
And that's good for the Zap player, right? Because the longer they're up, the more coolers they can pump out for their team. And honestly, that's a really, really great job from Goss there. Looking at the stats a little bit more, we're going to go into we're going to go straight into the stages that PxG are striking out. We don't got time for that.
PxG immediately going for Mahi zones, and normally for a Western team like PxG, like Mahi and Ship Shape are like zones maps that you play a lot more here. And now
I'm actually shocked.
The ball is in ISM Rhythm's court. What are they going to select for game 4? Oh, is that
it looks like they're gonna. Oh, that is Mincemeat. They're gonna select Mincemeat Metalworks for game 4 here, which, oh my goodness, I haven't seen a Splat Zones game on Mincemeat Metalworks in so long, and to see 2 top teams playing on this silly map, I'm so excited.
I will say, Slat, in the last Global Gauntlet Rewound episode where I saw ISM Rhythm, they did actually bring out Mincemeat. So they have played on this map before here, and we're seeing PxG stick with their guns from the museum game, no changes on ISM Rhythm's end.
Exactly. As we start out here, I think both teams are going to race exactly for the zone because ISM Rhythm wants to finish this set out so they can move on. But we won't count out PxG just yet, as it looks like they've got a pretty good control of the middle here.
Yeah, and we're already seeing them trying to take some more forward positions, as Soldier is doing on the far right side. Trying to hunt down some more targets, claiming their cooler, and also spotting out Livia on the flank. Same thing with Goss. They're trapping them in the corner, forcing them now to jump out.
Honestly, really good push there, Frostix. They have a really good setup place here for Noah, so he can push forward and get the picks that he needs. Ooh. Amazing pick on Livia there, as honestly, 40 ticks in and 40 seconds into the game. They have a really strong lead here.
No sodas for ISM Rhythm at the moment, and they've also gotten rid of Grand Roll. That's a very key pick as well to ensure that no sliders are hitting the zone just yet. And they're already halfway through their points. Noah landing another slice onto Livia, who cannot catch a break from Noah's laser.
No, exactly. We see the Booyah Bomb coming out from Gray, waiting patiently to see where they need to throw it. Almost goes down to that bomb by waiting a little too long, but ooh, we see the slider come out, getting 2 picks and taking control of the zone.
That being said, Soldier has a set of strikes ready, but that won't matter. The rest of ISM Rhythm are ready to immediately cover that up, as Yoika and Grand Roll are there taking on the front lines here. Grand's in a bit of a pickle. They're in a very low state situation, but they have a slider ready to roll, and here it comes, trying to chase down Noah. Noah goes down, and Grand Roll goes unpunished.
That was an exciting Reef there. I've never seen a Reef get a pick like that. We see the Blaster trying its best to get Grand, but not quite getting a chance to, as ISM Rhythm's zone ticks down slowly.
Yeah, ticking down, top gets to 17 if they want to get this lead, and it's a very far stretch, but they so far have a very strong foothold on the zone. Goyame is trying to scope out any targets at the moment, looking for some movement. They actually immediately one-shot that Wave Breaker, but here comes the strikes now from Soldier as the rest of PxG are starting to mobilize.
Oh, but it doesn't matter that the strikes do come out to take the zone, but they don't quite do it because ISM Rhythm outpaints the strikes, which I haven't seen in a while. That was really impressive. The points are ticking down even more, as it looks like the zone's about to flip back into PxG's favor.
So 54 penalty points now to ISM Rhythm. It's going to be a much longer game, but right now ISM Rhythm have another strong footing in the zone. We're seeing Granville trying to get some ledge on, but they get shut down. Eventually, Goyame, once again in their beloved sniping position, looking for targets. They have a lot of vision thanks to the point sensor and the wave breaker within the entire team's weapon comps, so they have just all very key sightlines on the rest of the map.
Honestly, that's why I like seeing point sensor a lot more. Being able to see the enemy team gives you so much information. As you can see, we see Gray immediately go down and the Wave Breaker immediately go down. Goyame is saying no to every single thing that is in their sights.
Yeah, exactly. They just want to ensure that PxG is blind and ensure that they're not in the lead as they are right now. And Grand Roll has a GG slider ready to roll, and there's no one from PxG that is there to contest it. And that's the last game in the set. Dead and done. That is a knockout from ISM Rhythm.
An excellent way to end the set, in my opinion. Just showing like how strong the team is. Like, hey, we didn't start off winning this match, but check this out. And they did an amazing lockout at the end there.
Amazing lockout indeed, and on a map that maybe isn't entirely as lockouts heavy this time around here. Looking more so at KDAs here, Gray obviously sporting a lot with like, I think in terms of, Goyame only went down once. Like, I just want to point that out. Goyame went down once. Only once.
And for an E-leader, that's good because you got a turret in the back, always just getting those picks. Then again, only needed to get 3 picks because of the knockout there. So, it worked out.
If anything, their sheer aura alone is just what solidifies them as an anchor here. And also, once again, gotta shout out the painters in both of the teams. Grand Roll delivering 1,300 paint. Same thing with Goss on 1,100 paint here. And also Soldier with like 1036 here. Big strikes as coming out from Soldier this time around.
Well, seeing points that high with how little how short the game was is impressive. I play shot and I can't paint that much in that little time.
Yeah, I mean, like, I play Viper and like I can maybe sometimes output a little bit of paint, but even when games go down that quickly, like when you have like if you have that much paint, it kind of just proves like how much like you can output within just a short amount of time here. And then if you can output that much paint, you'll have enough charge for stuff like specials, for stuff like map control here. Really, really solid output from all 8 players in the set.
Honestly, a really exciting set. It was really cool to see PxG take a game off of ISM Rhythm. Just, it's always exciting to see that. But I think that's all for us today for this Global Gauntlet Rewound.
Yes, and once again, this is only one of many Global Gauntlet Rewound videos on the IPL YouTube channel. So if you are seeing this in a playlist, grab a drink, grab some snacks. There's a whole lot more Global Gauntlet action coming up.